So how does electricity work, or electrical science, or whatever we're going to use as a word instead now? A battery and a bulb. Here's a circle of wire. It's got red and green. The red is separated from the green. I have a little thumbtack through the middle. So if I push on just the green and make the green rotate while the red doesn't, if the light bulb has friction against the motion of this stuff that's inside of the ring of metal, if the battery pushes it along and my finger is rubbing, my finger actually physically gets warm. Like if I push on this plastic fairly hard, my finger gets hot. I'm doing work on this side. No charges, no electric liquid in there is being gained or lost. It's just forced to flow in a circle like a drive belt. But at the same time, I do work here. My finger gets hot here. It happens instantly. If I go, my finger heats instantly over there. If this was 100 miles long, it would still be almost instantaneous. So sending energy from one end of the other of this thing is very, very fast, even though the stuff that's going around in a circle moves very slowly. So now we have two things moving. Going like this is heating my finger, so it's like work is going from one end of the system to the other, but stuff inside is going around in a circle. But that's pretty normal because if you have a clothesline, same thing happens. That if I push this, the whole thing turns off. Somebody want to grab this and get a telephone pole going here? If I push on one end or pull, the whole thing moves. It's just like a solid physical object. So if you rub your finger on that while I push and I heat your finger up, if I go like this, his finger heats. If I go like this, his finger heats. It doesn't matter which way it goes. I'm sending energy from this end to the other end. So one thing that's moving is energy. So when the electric company sells energy, they're not selling rope. Rope goes in a circle. So if you say electricity goes in a circle in a circuit, that electricity stuff is not what electric companies sell. What electric companies sell is a pumping service. Because every bit of rope that comes through this is an electric generator, goes back out again. And if that's a washing machine, there's a motor. Here's what the electric company does. They have two pulleys that can push on the stuff that's inside of metals and do work at a great distance. And when they move this one, that one moves. You can split this up and have it moving a whole bunch of things. You have one big wheel and lots of other little wheels. As long as you turn the big wheel, the little wheels turn. If someone puts a big friction load on the little wheels, this big wheel feels it, and you have to push harder. And that means you have to put more coal on the fire to keep the thing going at the same speed. And this is all analogy still, but the central point is put energy in here, it comes out there almost instantly. But stuff that's the drive belt goes around slowly and it's not gained or lost. So, like, which one is the electricity? There's two things here. So I think the solution is to bag the word electricity and just don't use it anymore. I don't know. To be able to explain the topic. And here's a little diagram of the same thing. Battery and a light bulb. The battery, the electric charges go through the battery. The battery does not store the stuff that's flowing. The light bulb doesn't use it up. It goes around. The source of the stuff that's flowing is the wire. Then we can go back to this thing. It's already there. Wires are full of the green stuff. The atoms provide the green stuff. And if you crank one end, the whole thing moves. Rope is not a form of energy. Yet energy does go in one end and come out the other. Another good illustration of this is a bicycle wheel. If you spin a bicycle wheel and then rub it on the other end, spinning it puts energy into the whole thing because that's the spinning motion is energy, basically, kinetic energy. And if you rub on the other end, your hand gets hot. But for an analogy for that, the electric company does not sell bicycle tire. The tire just keeps going around without being used up. One of the things I found out after learning to think in all these visual terms is that a lot of Tesla's stuff suddenly became very obvious. So I think Tesla was thinking in terms of this, and he called it the natural medium. If he's sending energy by employing the natural medium, he was talking about this stuff that's inside of matter, that when you shake the metal block, the stuff moves around and the stuff is always in there. Because if you can compress it a little tiny bit, you can send what are sort of like sound waves through it. And that's what all of Tesla's resonant technology was based on. If normal generators are based on a drive belt, Tesla's was more based on a tube that you yell into one end and the sound comes out the other. And then you have vibration and compression waves moving along. But even that is all conventional science. That yes, you can use a single wire to transmit energy, just like you can use a tube full of air and send sound waves down it. But you can also use a drive belt and move one wheel and the other wheel moves, and if you go back and forth, they go in sync. So a drive belt system